Hi, Hemant.
Hi Shanti, good morning.
So, what is your demo today?
So today I'll be walking over the steps how we can create Azure Ubuntu virtual machine on which we can install an Apache2 server,
Okay, please go ahead.
and this is via Azure portal. Okay, so for the agenda for this demo is to walk through of these steps. So as part of this, I have generated AI prompt on how we using Gemini and how actually go step by step on this process of creating the virtual machine, creating a resource group, bringing up the um, Apache server up and running via the bash commands. So we'll go over these steps. Um, so here is the prompt that is required basically to generate those steps by Gemini. I've written, I want to create one Apache server with Azure Ubuntu virtual machine. I need this to write Azure portal steps to create it manually without any infrastructure as code, and assume I'm a layman for this technology. So this gave me a series of steps that help me accomplish this task, and also sharing the script link for this prompt. So first you log into the Azure portal. On the search bar, search for the resource group
One,
that you
one thing,
want.
one thing. Can you please execute that script on Gemini and show the steps also?
Yes, sure.
You have to demo that, right? Script to demo.
Yes. Yeah, this is the script to create Apache web server on a virtual machine. Okay.
Okay, now you can go to PPT.
Yeah, so once we log into the Azure portal, we create a resource group for this. And once the minimum requirements that are required for creating resource group, which is subscription ID and the name of the resource group, then you can verify that the validation is passed and you can go ahead and create this resource group. Here I gave the name as my Apache server RG, which is suffix for resource group. Next, we'll go ahead and create a virtual machine um, on the Azure portal. So on the search bar, you search for the virtual machine, select the basic configuration, and you provide some details like the name that you want to give to the virtual machine. You can we will select the recently created resource group for this, and provide further details about the image, the server you want to install on. Here I gave the image as Ubuntu server on which we will be creating Ubuntu virtual machine. And size, I gave the minimum configuration with one CPU and 8 GB RAM. Next, earlier we even the previous demo that we did for Apache, we have used RDP port, but for this demo, I'm going ahead. I'm trying with SSH port connection, and also I have giving access to HTTP as well, so that if there are any incoming connections, it can accept those connections. As part of this config, we are required to provide a key pair name that has some encrypted key that will help us to have a secure connection when you're trying to connect to this Azure Ubuntu virtual machine. The default port for SSH is 22, which is already there. Um, Basically, now we are summarizing what we have selected. The options will be visible here, and you can see on the top the validation is now passed. So you go ahead and create the virtual machine. The deployment process is started and it is running, and now you can see it's complete. So we'll go to the resource and try to connect to the Ubuntu virtual machine. So here you are two options. You can see one is like a mostly commonly used option, which is through native SSH, and you also have through the Azure command line interface, you can still connect. You can see on the top also the unique IP address that's been assigned for this virtual machine. Once you select the SSH user CLI, it will run through some prerequisites to verify we have all the proper configurations. It will be running for a minute or so. You basically wait for the config plus connect button to enable and accept whatever the consent is required to connect to this VM. So once you have the command line open, you basically run this SSH command, providing the name of the virtual machine, the resource group, um, uh, and the subscription ID. This will make that connection. And then you run this command via admin with an admin privilege, like sudo is an admin privilege that allows you to run as an admin. So here you give this command to install the Apache2 server on this Ubuntu virtual machine. So once this execution is complete, basically your human Apache server should be up and running. So to verify that, you basically launch the generated IP address in your local browser, and you should be directed to this page where it shows that the Apache 2 default page and it is working. So here is the demo for this. Now we'll execute the similar or the same steps on the Azure portal now. Let's go to the home page, search for a resource group. I'm going to create a new resource for this. I'm going to close the bash command at the bottom so that we can have a full view. Resource group, this is a resource group for Apache. RG, I'll put Apache2 RG. I'll give server 1 hyphen RG review and create. Okay, resource has been created. So we don't have to go to the resource group. We can directly go and create the virtual machine. Okay, select the first screen option that you see. Go ahead and create your virtual machine. And you should be able to select the recently created resource group rather than creating a new one. So I can see from the drop down the recently created group. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to give a name as Ubuntu 1. Virtual machine. I will say Ubuntu VM1. Okay, that is more VM1 hyphen VM. I want hyphen here. VM1. VM. Okay. Availability is on. We don't need it for to be up and running for a long time. It's only for a demo. So I'm gonna go with no infrastructure required. And as this will be created via Ubuntu server, I think there are three options I have. One is with um, version 64-bit. One is all or 64-bit. So I'll go with the free services eligible with 22 LTS long-term support. LTS required means long-term support. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pick the basic again size with 1 GB memory and one CPU. So there's 8 GB memory and one CPU. I'm gonna select the standard version. Okay, you can see the SSH is already selected. Um, the username is also pre-populated Azure user. So now we want a key for this connection. So um, I'm gonna keep the selection SSH key as RSA format and allow selected ports. That means if some other connections are coming in, we can actually make those flow of traffic to this virtual machine. And also we can check some networking settings as well. So you can see SSH is selected. I'm also accepting HTTP because we'll be pinging this um, the web server using the IP address. So I'm going to select HTTP as well. So now I will also go back and check on the networking if I have any setups that are required. You can see the subnet mask is already selected. So basically, um, um, this will, you can see that the inbound ports both are selected, telling us that any traffic inbound and outbound is allowed through these two ports, SSH and HTTP. That is what I need. And we don't need any load balancing and gateway setup as of now for this demo. So I'm fine with these selections. I'm going to go ahead, review and create the virtual machine. Okay, now the validation is passed. So you can verify the details below, which is summarized. There's an exclamation saying that this is only recommended for testing. If you want to change the setting, you can go over to basics back. Okay, you can see the image we selected is Ubuntu server. Rest remains the same. So I'll go ahead and I'll say create. So there will be a key that is required for this SHL. So it's saying you will need it in future. So I'm going to save this. Okay, I'm going to save this in my downloads. Okay, now the deployment has started. Okay, let me close this. So you can see what all resources, dependency resources that will be generated as part of this um, deployment. You can see a virtual machine, network interface, virtual networks. Oops, okay, so the deployment is complete. If you want to go the details, go under deployment details. You will see all those network interface, virtual machines, IP address that's assigned, and a security group. That these are all the 5 dependency resources that gets generated for this virtual machine. So now we can go ahead and go to resources. You can basically it's already up and running. Okay, that is fine. Now we have to basically connect to this VM through the bash and install our Apache server. So let's go to the GenAI steps. So this is the old one. So I'm going to close this. Okay. So let's open the SSH connection. Before this, one second. Let's connect. Yeah. So now we can see both options. Either you can connect via command line, cloud line interface, or native SSH. I'm going to try the local Azure portal version. You can see now the prerequisites is running and the validation is in progress. It's making sure the port is accessible. The IP address generated is the same. It doesn't allow me to scroll further, but I'll give a couple minute. Okay, now I see Microsoft Intranet ID SSH extension is also configured. So we'll discuss about this in coming future demos. For now, I'll go ahead, I'll give a consent and um, let the portal configure and connect to the virtual machine through SSH. You can see all the prerequisites are met and um, it automatically opened the bash command for us. So we'll go ahead and try to run the command. Now we're going to install the Apache2. Um, okay, it's giving an error that there's no new privilege flag is set, which prevents sudo from running as root. Okay, let it cmd. Let's try from here. So let's connect with the local key that was provided to us. So let me make this command that we can run from a local terminal. Uh, Okay, let's go back and find the new IP address. We'll just replace it with the new one. And in the same path, we'll make sure we have the latest um, key permission P file that is required to connect. So my Apache server key was the old one. So Ubuntu VM, it's there downloaded. Okay. So we're going to replace that with the new key and then try to run the command. Okay. Now let's go back. Make sure we got it right. The authenticity can't be established. That is strange. Okay. Let's try from the most common used native SSH if it does allow. I know the VM is up and running. Okay. Which prevents from running Azure. So let's search how we can resolve this issue with no privilege flag. Uh, so I said you can try running the command without using sudo since you're already in developer mode. Replace sudo with sudo to switch to the root and then run sudo su. So let's try that. It's the same error. Sudo su. Okay, even shell sudo su, then shell sh. Okay, let's try shell su. It says that command not found. Okay. I'm sure I didn't miss any of the steps. Let's check the VM status. Virtual machines, Ubuntu VM, it's up and running. Okay, it's just with the connection. I'll go here again and go to connect locally. Let's check again the validation part if SSH allows us to. Okay, it said validation was okay. Okay, now it picked up the command. Okay, let's see. Are you sure you want to connect? Yes. Yeah, I had similar issue earlier also, especially with the bash command. When I try typing, it was basically um, typing a duplicate value. If I say yes, it would say YYEESS. I wasn't sure it was from my side. It was on the Azure portal, but anyways, now I think it was able to connect to the VM. You can see the prompts. Um, so let's try running the command to basically install Apache 2. Let's see. Maybe there was some delay. I believe there was some delay with um, connecting the SSH. So, okay. So before running, I also want to verify if just to see if our Apache web server is up. It's not installed, but I want to make sure on this IP, there's no other connections that were there. Okay, so this is expected. Refused any connection. So let's go back and try to run the Apache 2. Okay. Do you want to continue after the operation? The additional space is required. Yes. Okay. Now, basically, it's basically extracting all those dependency libraries. Oops. Would you like to reconnect? Of course. Something is wrong. I lost connection. I don't know why it happened. So let me close and relaunch again. Connect. Okay. Okay. No, I want the command to install Apache. So let's try again. Okay. Okay, I think it is installed. Let's launch our Apache server and see if it throws Ubuntu error. Okay, it does. That means now the Ubuntu is up and running
Share
on
the
our,
URL. Please share the
yes.
URL.
Okay, share in the group
Yes, correct.
chat.
Yeah,
Okay, so that you can verify if it's public or it's
yeah. Look,
no. Yes.
basically that denotes it is a public URL kind of
Yeah,
thing.
correct.
Verification. Yeah, it is displaying the same page.
Okay, perfect.
Images,
Okay, then that,
right?
so yes, so here this is our demo, and after the VM is installed, we had some um, connectivity challenges to the virtual machine. That's why in the first attempt we were not able to install Apache, but after second attempt, I think the connection was established and we were able to install Apache2. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll stop recording.